it's Chris, and welcome back to Whiskey Outpost. We are done with New Year, New Pour. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, in 31 days, we tried 31 new to me pours, and you got to see the look on mine and sometimes my wife's face as we tried them all for the first time. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and now we've moved on to bigger and I think maybe better holidays. See, we're recording this exactly 8 days from the day the Kansas City Chiefs will repeat, well, not repeat, but win another Super Bowl championship. Or the Phillies might. But I'm from Kansas City. What am I going to do? Not cheer for the Chiefs? Anyway, I got to thinking if I go to a Super Bowl party this year, which, kind of hoping I might, what bottle might I want to take? So we're going to look at bottles for the big game. Now I've got five selections here. You can kind of see some of them, but we'll pull them up and show you exactly what we're thinking. But I thought, what would I want to take to a party? And so there were a couple things that I was looking at as considerations for what I might take to the big game. And the first is I don't want to break the bank. So I don't think I've got anything here. Well, this one, but a little secret on that we'll talk about. I don't think I've got anything here that's over $50. Most of these I think I found for less than 30 or right about the $30 range. So not going to break the bank. I think that's important because you're taking this to a game and you're hoping that your friends will drink some of it, and we hope we can be a good bourbon ambassador. So really, I tried to find some things that I thought were cool, were unique. There's a variety here based on what you like and what your friends might like, so you can be a good bourbon ambassador. Bring something you're going to enjoy drinking, and hopefully cheer the Chiefs on to the victory, or the Eagles if that's what you're thinking. So, uh, you know, whatever, right? It's as long as we're drinking well. What does the score really matter? Yeah. So, like I said, I've got five bottles here. I have arranged them in no particular order except for their size. So we're going to kind of cover them in this order. I will say I have an honorable mention over here. This is Buffalo Trace, and it actually fits a lot of the criteria that we're talking about. If you can get it at MSRP, then it fits our price range. That was loud. Maybe not that bottle, because that was the larger 1.75. But if you can get a larger bottle, I don't know what I'm saying. If you can find the 750 milliliter bottle, it's right in our price range easily. It's unique because it tastes really good. It's Buffalo Trace. So people who know bourbon are going to be like, oh, Buffalo Trace. But because it's really hard for people to find, I didn't want to include it in this list. I seem to have really terrible luck with every other allocated bottle except for Buffalo Trace. So I could bring it, but I like these selections just as well. So kind of let's get into kind of what I'm thinking here. And we'll start with this bottle, which, as you can tell, is High West. This is the double rye, and maybe I should have gone last with this bottle because rye whiskey is controversial for reasons that I don't always understand. A lot of people say they don't like it because it's real spicy, or they say, it's kind of one of those drinks that you like last once you kind of go on your distilled spirits journey. That's fine. That's, every taste is your own, drink what you want. I, however, really like this. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pour myself a little bit just so I can be tipsy while I'm talking to you. I think that's important in these videos. But if you haven't had the double rye from High West, it's way smoother than you would expect a rye whiskey to be. It has a good nose on it. Um, it's sweeter than most. It has a really exquisite flavor. It definitely feels like there's a lot more corn, a lot more sugar in here, along with that double rye. You definitely get spiciness. I don't know if you saw my reaction, but there's some proof. I can still feel it going down my throat, but at the same time, it has a really good flavor. So for I'm not sure this is the best drink for the rookie, never had anything to drink bourbon drinker, but just because of the proof. But still, I think that if you're taking it to a party and you're trying to hit a number of different tastes, this is going to do you pretty well. I think that sweetness and that nose and just a little hint of spice is going to get you through most parties. And if somebody says, "Oh, I really want to try bourbon. I've never had it before, but I'm scared of the proof," a couple drops of water that'll take care of most of your ales. All right, I'm gonna stop drinking and I'm gonna move on to the next one. So my next pick, as you can probably tell due to the red on the bottle, is Maker's Mark. I picked Maker's Mark 46 because that's what I could find. But I mean, here at the table, I've also got that Maker's Mark, which is a store pick. I think I've got plain Maker's Mark in the other room. Maker's Mark, right? I really did want to limit my choices in some of the bigger distilleries to just one for this video, but I went with the Maker's Mark because for me it was the gateway into whiskeys and bourbons. So I just naturally assume it's a good gateway for most people. It mixes well. It's smooth on its own. And it's got a good flavor. So if you're looking for something that you're sure everyone would be able to go out and find. Maker's Mark is really a good way to go. It's got a very, very pleasant nose with that caramel and vanilla and those baking spices and all that kind of stuff. Again, it proofs out a little bit, especially this 46. So maybe go with like the standard Maker's Mark if you think there's a lot of people that don't drink whiskey there. But again, it mixes so nicely with other things that I think it's very welcome in a party. The next thing I'm going to take a look at here is this is Woodford Reserve. It is double oaked because I was lazy, and this is the bottle I could get at most rapidly. It is not it does not fit our price range. However, if you go get one of the other Woodford Reserves, definitely fits the price range. Woodford Reserve is very sweet. There's a very good flavor to it. It's not proofy. I drink it a lot. It's good on the rocks, especially if you want something that you can kind of sip on all night and maybe you want to keep it a little colder. Woodford Reserve holds up to that. And I think the bottle's kind of interesting, right? So, again, if you want to be a good bourbon ambassador and you want to get other people drinking things, something like this, is definitely going to attract the eye. So that's one of the reasons I picked it. None of that, it's delicious. I'm not sure that I would take the double oaked to a party. It's a little expensive, and I don't want to share because this is one of my top favorite bourbons. But you may be nicer than me. Who knows, right? So yeah, I think it's a good pick, and I think it's going to make some people very excited to try bourbon and try whiskey in the future. So can't go wrong with that. Moving down the line, actually, I want to sip. I was going to sip, but I do really like this High West Double Rye. I went with Four Roses. This is a single barrel, so it definitely jacks up the price a little bit. You don't have to go with a Four Roses single barrel. I think just plain Four Roses, if you're taking it to a party, is fantastic. I saw this on the shelves today when I was out running around. I think it was $23. It might have been 25, but by itself, Four Roses is good. It's smooth. It has a good nose. It mixes well. It's really one of those things that you can take to a party and make a lot of people happy. So, I mean, even though this is the single barrel and I've already got a little bit of rye in there, I'm gonna take a drink real quick. Yeah, it's got a bourbon nose on it. You can, if you're drinking it, you can talk about the char notes. You can talk about a lot of what makes bourbon taste like bourbon. In between Patrick Mahomes' touchdown passes. But it's just such a unique flavor. You get cask notes. You don't get a lot of proof. It's sweet enough to be interesting. It's not going to scare a lot of people off. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. And I don't know if you can see, but it's definitely kind of syrupy, and I think that's a good sign for somebody, who's just starting out. Last thing I brought here was the Dewar's. This is Dewar's 12 year. It's definitely a departure from these other ones. It's not a bourbon. It's not American. This is Scotch. I really like Dewar's. I like their illegal smooth and the Japanese smooth better. But kind of going with the night, this is what I could find, and it's going to want to show it off. I think any Dewar's is a good place to start though, because it's not overly peaty, right? I mean, you're not getting that odor of bog and smoke, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but you either love it or you hate it. And if we're trying to be a good ambassador for distilled spirits in this case, going with something that's that strongly flavored is going to scare people off. You know, they think all I'm doing is drinking a mouthful of smoky swamp. They're not going to come back. Something like Dewar's is very smooth. You know, it's got those barley notes. It's a single malt, so you're gonna be able to drink it down. It's really good on the rocks. So I would actually recommend, especially if somebody's not real used to drinking scotch, to serve this on the rocks because dilution will make it a little bit more family friendly for everyone. I know family friendly is not the right word, but you know, a little bit more friendly for people who are trying it out for the first time. So you're not going to blow anybody's socks off. You're just going to say, hey, you know, you're trying whiskey. This is good. And I think people that know Scotch, especially if you bring the illegal smooth or something like that, they're going to know the name Dewar's. They're going to understand that you know what you're trying to do is bring a bottle that is good for everybody. So again, these are not like the true whiskey snob bottles. These are a good way to get people started drinking, to start a conversation. And let's face it, drink something that still tastes good, right? I mean, if you were served one of these, I don't think you're going to complain too loud because yeah, they're all pretty good. So that's why I picked these 5 bottles for the big game. But let me know what you think. What are you taking to your big game party? Are you bringing an allocated bottle? And if so, can I come? You know, that kind of thing. If you like the idea of bringing something that's a little bit more affordable, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these bottles, especially if you've got a Trader Joe's nearby. Because one of my favorite stories is I bought this double rye for, I don't know, $32 at a Trader Joe's. It was just sitting there on the shelf. So give that a shot. You know, Maker's Mark you can find in any liquor store, some gas stations that serve liquor. So it's readily available and it's cheap. Woodford Reserve is just good. I mean, you know, like I said, with the Four Roses, you can't go wrong. And Scotch is Scotch, and I love Scotch. So that's all the reason you need, right? But again, please do the thing where you like, where you subscribe, hit the notification button. You know, we're going to a weekly schedule now, so or maybe a little bit more than weekly, uh, but it won't be every day like it was. But I still want you to come and stop by and let me know what you think. Let me know what content you want to see other than just me drinking. And I know Tina will come back. I promise. She's cooler than I am. I get it. It's really her show. That's fine. Whatever. I'm happy. As long as you're showing up, that's all that matters. But anyway, thanks again. This is Chris from the Whiskey Outpost. I will see you next time. See you then.